It's time for business now, and Sandra Feno is here with business. She'll be telling us one of the biggest issues today has been the arrest of the CEO of defunct UT Bank and Michael Nyeneku, CEO of Beige Capital. And Sandra will be telling us about the ramifications shortly. But government has launched an aggressive hunt for persons responsible for the collapse of some banks in the recent banking sector cleanup, picking up arguably Ghana's most celebrated businessman, Prince Kofi Amoabeng, who founded the now defunct UT Bank. We have details of this and the arrest of another celebrated businessman, Mike Nyeneku. Mike, who also founded Beige Bank, which turned out to be highly successful until its liquidation. Our correspondent, Parker Wilson, was in court today and he has all the details. Hi, Parker.
Hi,
what can you tell us about his bill? We're told he was given bail and all of that.
Right, that's correct. So this morning we received a call that Prince Kofi Amoabeng has been picked up by the police. So when we got to the Circuit Court 4, just around the Supreme Court, I discovered, in fact, I spoke to those who accompanied him to the court, and they told me that it wasn't actually picked up, but rather he received a call from the police prosecutors that he should appear in court today at the Circuit Court 4. So he did, but he was quite surprised that a case that has been ongoing for quite some time now, over 3 years, has been under investigation, and investigations are yet to be concluded, and he's been dragged to court. It was quite problematic for him. So we spent about an hour before the judge himself walked to the courtroom to hear the case. So he called the case, and the police prosecutors leveled 2 charges against Mr. Kofi Amoabeng, that 1, stealing, and then 2, money laundering. And if you look at the charge sheet as before me, the stealing, the police prosecutors say that between the year 2009 and 2017, Mr. Kofi Amoabeng dishonestly appropriated the sum of over 51 million Ghana cedis, being the property of UT Bank. And that money, according to the police prosecutors, was proceeds of crime. And Mr. Kofi Amoabeng went on to convert the 51 million into dollars, getting about $8 million. So, and that money was into a foreign account. So these were the charges against him. So in court, the lawyers argued that, well, the case has been going on for some time, and Mr. Amoabeng has been cooperating with the CID and EOCO. In fact, he cited instances where Mr. Amoabeng was out of the jurisdiction and EOCO invited him to come over, and he cut his trip short to return to assist with the investigation. And again, Mr. Kofi Amoabeng has dotted companies across the country. So there's no reason that he will leave the country and fold all the companies that he has folded up and leave the country. So he's pleading with the court to grant him bail. The judge said, well, he's been convinced by the argument put before by the lawyer for Kofi Amoabeng, and that he's willing to grant him bail to the sum of 110 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, and the 2 individuals who are going to be the sureties for Mr. Amoabeng should earn not less than 2,000 Ghana cedis. And again, requested that he deposit his passport and make sure that he reports to the police twice in a week, preferably on Mondays and Fridays. So he was happy about the situation, and he thanked the court for granting his client bail.
We know that Michael Nyeneku, who founded Beige Capital Bank, also has had to be, he is still in police custody. What was his demeanor, and why was he not also granted bail?
In fact, the 2 of them, Mike Nyeneku and Mr. Amoabeng, when they came to court this afternoon, they were quite calm, they were all smiling. In fact, they hung around for quite some time before the case was heard. But unfortunately for Mike Nyeneku, the bail application was denied by the court. The lawyer also advanced a similar argument to that of the lawyer for Kofi Amoabeng, saying that over the past 2 years, he's been under investigation. He's been cooperating with the Ghana Police Service and EOCO. They don't understand why the case has been brought to court, so they should grant him bail. The judge in return said, well, he's not convinced by the argument by the lawyer, and so he's going to remand him. So the court, in fact, he decided with the court that, well, they should remand him for a week into police custody, and also when they return on the 22nd of January, that is when they are going to decide whether or not to accept his bail application. But as we speak now, Mr. Yeneku is in the police custody. In fact, he's going to spend the night there, and then, of course, the rest of the week, actually.
Thank you very much, Parker, for the update from court. Sandra, this certainly means a lot for the banking sector and the business sector as a whole.
Yes, and so we want to get some understanding from the experts on the ramifications of the prosecutions of the financial sector, and I have been joined on the phone lines by financial consultant Charles Mensah. Very good evening to you, and thanks so much for your time. If you can hear me, finally we have seen some bold steps and bold move from government and the BOG towards the prosecution of these persons. What message does it send to the financial sector?
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I think in the first place, we all know what was going to happen, because once crisis happened, they were invited initially to Yoko as per your reporter, and they have been assisting with the investigation. So it moved from Yoko and the CID, and then it's gone to court, and then the court is going to go through the process. So this is the first process. The charge sheet, as read by your reporter, is that one of the charges that it's not the board, but rather individuals who were in court in stealing, in stealing. So I'm being charged, and as well as the other gentleman's charges that it is stealing. So as long as they are able to prove that they didn't steal or they stole, then some analysis will be done, and then they will adduce the reasons if it's not stealing, and then they can go ahead from there. So at least it sends some signal that the justice system is working, and they're going to go through the mill. And then as long as the thing is in court, I think we will refrain from commenting on the court issues. But the procedure is that it's in court, and then the court system will work.
It's well said, but again, does it also mean that government and the BOG are committed towards bringing an end to the banking sector cleanup?
Of course, as long as the Ministry of Finance and the governor at the initial stage that they are bailing the banks out or the depositors out with the taxpayers' money, and that they will investigate. So any persons who have been found have gone through outside the system. In other words, some malfeasance have taken place. They would go to court and make sure that whatever it is, they will allow the justice to prevail. So yes, it sends some signal that even if you are a founder and anything happens, and they investigate and they can attribute some malfeasance to you, the court or the justice system will deal with you. So I think that system is already gone. I mean, people already know that the justice system works. But it was a bit of foolish, that one can say, because initial point there were all sorts of allegations out there, people were throwing that, but this is the rare meat. This is the time that people have been able to narrow down to specifics. So they've narrowed down to specifics in the case of Mr. Mwabin, Captain Mwabin, narrowed down to specifics. That is 51 million. So there must be some vouchers to prove that. In the same as Mike Yeneku, there will be vouchers to prove that. So once there are vouchers to that, so it moves away from rumors to specifics. And once it's specifics, then his lawyers and he himself has to adduce reasons for those specifics. So this is where we are dealing with facts. We are not dealing with rumor. We are not dealing with opinions of individuals. We are dealing with facts.
All right.
So I believe, yes.
Most importantly, those affected are customers. How should they be reacting to this move? And will this further help build confidence in the banking sector, as we've been told?
I think the confidence was built at the day one when the Bank of Ghana said that no depositor will lose money. And so that confidence was thrown out there at the initial stage when they said that nobody loses the money. Today, I'm here to hear any depositor who says that he hasn't gotten his money. I mean, prior to the holidays, I heard His Excellency the President saying that those whose balances are left should be paid full. So that in itself restore the confidence in the banking sector. So depositors are not having anything as we speak. So now we've gone beyond the depositors. Now we are going beyond, we are lifting the veil and tackle the individuals who were found otherwise on committing any more offences. And that's the stage that we've gotten into. Justice, as you say, goes to a thing, and investigation also goes to a thing. So I want to reiterate that sometimes we move too fast with opinions and rumors and things. These are the facts. We should allow the facts to play out in the court.
All right, thank you so much for your time. I have been speaking to financial consultant Charles Mensah on the ramifications of the prosecutions of persons involved in the collapse of banks in the country. I am Sandra Esinamap, and I'll be back after 8 p.m.